Hi, my name is Karri, Tarsha. I make custom cookies, which means I get requests for certain weddings, birthdays, things like that, and I make decorated cookies from my home in Adrian. The cookies started when my oldest son was in kindergarten, and he had Funny Feet Friday. And I had been following a blogger who made decorated cookies with royal icing, which wasn't something I had used before. And so I thought, I'm going to make Funny Feet cookies for him to take to school. So I did. I cut them out in feet shapes and then just made all different colors and put funny faces on them. And I was in love. I enjoyed it so much. And so then people started asking for mostly birthdays, I think, at first. But now I do all kinds of things. I've done some for Adrian College. I do weddings, birthdays, lots of occasions. My first big order that I remember was for University of Michigan women's basketball. It was a Christmas party, I believe, for 500 decorated cookies. That was several years ago, and it was the first time I had literal cookies all over my kitchen and dining room. Several years ago, I did 3,500 for Adrian College graduation. That's probably the biggest one, but I kind of have it down now, knowing how much time it takes and so on. I also, a couple of years ago, bought a printer, which prints directly on the cookies. And so we can print pictures, logos, anything that people want so that it can be super custom. And that's also easier for me to do. And so I can offer a little bit of cheaper price because it doesn't take as much time. When I get the order, I start thinking about ideas for whatever theme it is. Like this week, I'm doing a wedding and an anniversary. And so they tell me what colors, they're using and the couple's name. Sometimes they have a particular theme. So I just think of ideas. And it really helps me a lot if I can have the design ideas planned before I even start, because that's the hardest part for me is figuring out what will go together and just the whole look of them. I have a large mixer and I make the dough, roll it out. I only do roll out cookies. I do offer several flavors, so I can do like chocolate chip and pumpkin and lemon and, several flavors, but they're all rollouts with my rolling pin, and I cut them with the cookie cutter and bake them. And like I said, I use royal icing, which dries hard and shiny. And so you can stack them on top of a platter if you want to, where you can't really do that with the softer icing cookies. I use a dehydrator sometimes to help dry them in between steps. Sometimes I have to ice one layer and then let it dry so that I can do the next part. So it really does take a lot of time, more than people think. My favorite part is at the end, putting just when it all wraps up, because, they're just in stages up until then. And when I get them all together, and then, of course, when the customer sees them. And I love it when, especially if they're for a child, and they'll send me a picture, with the child, with the smile on their face. Mostly I'm part of happy occasions. I have made some for memorials, which is nice too. But I just like being part of people's lives, and it helps me, with my family, able to make some extra money for them. It makes me feel really happy when someone asks me to make cookies for an order, that they want me to be a part of my art, to be a part of their celebration. I have many customers that I've made for years, and I'm just happy that people keep including me. Karri's Cookies. I make art you can eat.